My name is Brian Peterson. I'm an artist here in Santa Ana, California. I have an organization called Faces of Santa Ana, where I paint portraits of my neighbors experiencing homelessness. And I have another organization called Brian Peterson Arts, where we focus on murals and beautifying our city. Man, art for me goes way back. Art for me goes back to my third grade teacher. She noticed that I wouldn't pay attention in her class, and so she'd be trying to teach me math and I'd be drawing. And so she reached out to my parents and said, I think you guys have like an artist on your hands. So from third grade all the way up through college, I've always been in art-centered education. When I was in high school, someone gave a presentation at our school and the focus was on automotive design. I didn't know that artists design cars. And so I took that path. I said, I want to take my ability to draw and create and put that towards a career. And while working at my job, I felt like there was like a void in my heart. Honestly, I missed this idea of getting my hands dirty with paint. I missed that idea of expressive color use, all the things that I did in like high school and college. And I yearned to paint again. And it was this chance encounter where I met a man named Matthew experiencing homelessness. I heard him screaming outside of my window one day. And I went and spoke to this guy and I asked him if I can paint his portrait. So here I am as a 9-to-5 regular guy in the world designing cars. And then from 5 to midnight, I began painting portraits of my neighbors experiencing homelessness. And something began to come alive in my heart. I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I was in my dream job. I got exactly what I thought I wanted. And then there was this piece of me from 5 to midnight that was coming alive as I was painting and getting messy again as I did as a kid. And I knew there would be a moment where I would have to make a decision. Would I continue to follow my career and the goals associated with my job? Or would I make a shift and a pivot and begin to focus on my passion and my purpose? And so back in 2015, I met this guy, Matthew, painted his portrait. He was experiencing homelessness, and that was the start of Faces of Santa Ana. And there was a moment where I revealed this painting. I walked out to a man who had been homeless for 10 years. I held up this large 30 by 40 inch canvas and I turned it around and I said, hey man, this is how I feel God sees you. And that moment, the look on his face, the excitement in his heart, lit a fire in my heart. And I just told myself, I need to do this as long as I'm alive. I need to continue to show people who they are with my art and creativity. And it's like I can't stop now. You know, each time it gets better, it gets more interesting. The reactions from people are priceless. Some people cry, some people scream, some people jump up and down and run in circles. And it's like, who wouldn't want to see humanity full of joy? My decision to leave behind auto design and pursue portraiture, mural art, and everything I'm doing today, I think it was 100% the right decision. Was it an easy one? No. I had to break past a lot of fear. I think this is why I feel free. I've released like expectations of where I feel like I'm supposed to be. And so I feel like the role of an artist here on earth is to tell the story of the times you live in, right? Like when Brian Peterson is long gone, can you look at my art and see some form of storytelling of what it was like in 2021, right? My portraits of the homeless. I want to convey to people that if you look again or look with a new lens, you might be able to see the disheveled man on the corner as God's masterpiece. So when I gave my life to the Lord and I was saved, for lack of a better word, the first thing the Lord did in my life was pull painting out of me. I met Matthew a couple weeks later. So I don't know Christianity separate from me creating art. And so my creative process has become worship. And so I walk knowing that I'm sent into the world with an instrument of worship, and I'm to use it for His glory. And His promise back to me is that He'd multiply it. So that's just what I do. So I started jumping back into art while working at Kia as a portrait artist, painting my neighbors experiencing homelessness. And I got a call one day from a company that said, hey, we love your art, we love what you're doing painting your neighbors. We are building a building that's going to house formerly homeless people. And they said, would you consider painting a 200-foot mural on our building? And I remember they asked me, they said, do you do that? Do you paint murals? Up until that point, I've never touched a spray can. I mean, I had no idea how to execute what they asked me about. And my response to them, I said, yes, I do. so I lied. I told a white lie. The artwork I'm most proud of today is it's a mural I painted called More Than an Athlete, and it's Kobe receiving his Oscar. I painted it on the Dolby Theater where he actually received the Oscar. The reason why that's so important to me is, of course, yes, I'm a Kobe fan, but the execution and the possibility of that mural came from just an idea that I feel God dropped in my head. So I called 1,000 people trying to figure out where I can install this mural. I put action to this faith idea that there should be a Kobe Oscar mural. And I think the result of it was it ended up on the Jimmy Kimmel Live show. Vanessa Bryant came out to meet me. It was truly a dream. Yeah, it's funny. I think as an artist, you always look at your art different than the public will. You know, someone might look at one of my murals and be like, oh my gosh, it's amazing, I love it, or oh, I don't love it, right? But as an artist, I'm always looking at it from a place of like process. I know what it took, I know the steps that I took to get to the final product. And I'm always thinking, okay, how can I improve my process? How can I add more shapes, add more contrast, add more color? And so I try to make every mural better than the last, right? So I'm always growing. I've released this idea of receiving my approval from whoever sees my art to receiving my approval from the one I created it with. And I feel like art for me is worship. I just want to sort of impart to people listening that your ideas may be more sacred than you know. Sometimes we say, oh, I had an idea for something, and we treat it as such a casual thing. I'm learning now that ideas are not casual, and that your breakthroughs in life are on the other side of your biggest fears. So if you can imagine your fears being like a wall or a barrier, your breakthrough, your purpose, your destiny is on the other side of that brick wall. And I think fear cripples creativity. And so I would say become a master at identifying fear and overcoming it.